Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, or is it just called Shazam Fury of the Gods? Anyways, I've been wanting to talk about this movie ever since I saw it a few weeks ago, but I got very busy. And I wanted to talk about it because of the simple fact this movie sucked. It sucked so bad. Like, seriously, the director, David F. Sandberg, and all the writers, they can't cook. They need to stay out the kitchen. They burnt the pots, they burnt the skillet, the stove is on fire. Like, seriously, you have to make your movie make sense. And this movie didn't make no sense whatsoever. And I mean, whatsoever. It's like I watched this movie because I was excited for this movie. I really was. I really liked the first movie. The first movie had like a great plot. It had an amazing villain. It had really cool like special effects. And there was this weird tease of this little like worm thing that that's supposed to be like the main central villain for like the second movie. I don't know what that's all about because I don't read comic books, but hey, I was for it, you know what I'm saying? And I've always liked Captain Marvel ever since I saw him in Justice League Unlimited. And every other thing I've seen him in since, I've always liked him in. And yeah, the Shazam movies, they follow that of the New 52 comics, which I'm not a fan of, even though I don't read comics, but I don't like the stuff that the source material is based off of, because I don't like that version of Billy Baston. I don't like him as an arrogant little punk and everything, and I don't like it when he transforms, he acts like a man-child. But it's like, hey, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The first movie, like I said before, it still was really good. And I've heard people say, oh, they just did exactly what they did in the first movie and nothing changed. I want to disagree with that. I believe they took what was so funny in the first movie, cranked it up by 1,000,000, and somehow it came out 1,000,000 times worse. They left out all the like dramatic, like heartfelt stuff, and so it's not more of the same. This movie just sucks. It's like I don't understand how do you go from such a very good movie to like making something that is very mediocre. The villains were lackluster and terrible. The acting is mid and all over the place. People's actions in the movie makes no sense. And how is it now that these kids are getting older when they transform into adults? They act like gooberish, like, adult kids and everything, or kid adults. Like, they don't. Okay, it's like they're adults trying to act like kids as opposed to the actor being a kid, being an adult, and trying to mature themselves. Like, they're just crazy in the head. They're gooberish and everything. They don't make no sense. And you gotta make it make sense. However, this movie was doomed from like the very start. Like, before the movie even came out, it was announced that, hey, there's going to be a soft reboot in DC Warner Brother movies. The DCEU is dead. Now, here comes the DCU, which pissed a lot of people off. A lot of people kept saying, well, what's the point of like watching this movie if you're gonna reboot the thing? But then they all like, no. This movie's gonna lead into another movie, and this movie's gonna lead into another movie, then it's gonna lead into the DCU, so you have to watch it. I don't believe you for a second, James Gunn. And so, like, a lot of people are very weary of this shakeup and everything. And so, like, it's even to the point now where people don't want to watch Blue Beetle and they don't want to watch Aquaman 2. In fact, supposedly the test screenings for Aquaman 2 are dismal and everything. But yet David Zaslav says it's a blockbuster movie and everything. He couldn't put out Batgirl. But oh no, Shazam and Aquaman and Black Adam and The Flash, oh, those are blockbuster movies. Well, Black Adam bombed and Shazam 2 bombed as well. And from what we hear, Aquaman 2 is having problems and everything. Not to mention, they kept Ezra Miller. After all that criminal crap, they kept Ezra Miller. And people are just like, what the freak nuts are you doing? And so, once again, this movie was played from the start. You had Zachary Levi, for whatever boneheaded reason, a month before the movie came out to show the world, yo, I'm anti-vax. And people are just kind of like, oh, well, screw you, dude. And, cause, people lost a lot of loved ones during the pandemic. And for him to come out and put something like that online, like, that article he posted, that was messed up. Then he tried to do damage control and it made it even worse. Then on top of that, the man had some kind of Joe Rogan podcast thing he did years ago where I guess he didn't defend something somebody said and didn't correct somebody, which, how often do people really correct people? It doesn't really happen. I stopped correcting people years ago because people are going to be who they want to be and they're only going to change when they want to change. And so, but then on top of that, this dude had a complete meltdown after the movie came out because it bombed so bad. And it's like he just went on this weird, crazed rant online. Then he tried to blame The Rock for the movie failing, talking about, well, we tried to get Black Adam in the movie, but he wouldn't let. Now here's the thing. I can't believe I'm even gonna say this. Black Adam was a better movie than Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods. Not by much. It had better action. And it had somewhat of a better plot. But of course, Black Adam, I stand by this. It was copy and paste, and The Rock just can't act. Even if The Rock was to come in the movie as a cameo, it wasn't gonna save nothing. It didn't save Facts X. It didn't save that G.I. Joe movie I think he was a part of years ago. It's look, people are on to The Rock. People are tired of seeing him playing himself in movies. People are tired of him not being able to act. People are tired of him not being able to evolve his acting and stuff because he either refuses to or don't know how. Now, like I said before, look, I don't hate The Rock. I still like him as a wrestler and everything. I'm just not a fan of his acting. And so it's kind of I don't want to see him in a Fast and Furious spin-off movie where he's going to be the lead. And no, it's not Hobbs and Shaw. It's a completely different sequel. So what the world, man? Let that franchise die already. But seriously, back to The Rock. Even if The Rock was in that movie, he wasn't gonna save it in no cameo. Now, Black Adam should have been the villain of Shazam all along. If they wasn't going to do it in the first movie, they should have did it in the second. Christopher Nolan even knew this. He was smart. He didn't put the Joker in the first movie, which pissed a lot of people off. And so, but he knew eventually he's gonna have to bring the Joker into his universe, and he did in the second movie. And that's what they should have did with Black Adam, but oh no, The Rock's ego got to the best of him. So yes, The Rock is partially to blame for this, but he's not the sole reason why this movie flopped. And since Zachary Levi has is it Levi or Zachary Levy? I don't care, whatever his name is. He's proven to be just an idiot and everything, like a little jackass in the box. And so, people are just done with him. But are we done with him as Shazam? He might be in a future movie. He's friends with Peter Safran, who owns, the Warner Brother movie stuff. Co-owns it with James Gunn. So we might actually see him now if they're going to keep Ezra Miller of all things. And plus James Gunn said he's not going to police Zachary on Twitter or nothing like that. So, ugh. And then, It was also more plagued from the start because the director, before the movie even came out, kind of dissed his own movie and everything. You have Helen Mirren, who a lot of people of color are pissed at her because remember when Oscars was so white? She's all like, oh no, it's not the Academy's fault. It's just nobody wants to go see their movies. That's why they didn't get nominated and everything. Man, shut your stinking mouth and stop filling your face. Like, seriously, man, I was distracted the entire time I saw her on screen because of how puffy and stretched her face looked. I wish to God Hollywood would stop messing with their faces. It seems like it's even the young people now are like filling their faces in. And it's like you're young and you don't have wrinkles yet, and they have like puffy lips and like really stretched faces and stuff and puffy cheeks. It's starting to look a little scary in Hollywood. Like it really is, and nobody looks natural no more. Nobody face moves no more. Nobody mouth is able to move. There's this one actress I really like. She does both TV and movies, and she's a lot older. And she messes with her face. It's injected, it's stretched. Her face does not move no more. She has no emotion when she acts. And her mouth, she can barely get her words out because her mouth can't even open no more. And it's getting scary, Hollywood. It's really getting scary. And then, you have what's that woman, Michelle Broth. She decided to defend, like she was the original adult, like Captain Mary or whatever you want to call her and stuff. She got replaced because she decided to defend a domestic terrorist as opposed to defend like the actual hero who was trying to stop the domestic terrorists and stuff. So she canceled herself. And so then you didn't have this before, but now you have Megan Good dating Jonathan Majors, which seems like the giant PR stunt. And it's like, dude, he's been accused of like hitting a woman and beating up a woman, and then these other women from his past are bringing out allegations too. Why in the world are you dating him the moment all that stuff happened? It seems like a PR stunt, like it really does. And then you have, oh Lord Jesus, Rochelle Ziegler, who literally came out. I don't even know if it was a day or after the movie came out, talking about she only did it for the money. And it's like, dude, that's not a good thing to say, especially when you look at your acting. She's not a very good actress. Let's just put it like that. Not attacking her, I'm just calling fact. Before this movie, she only had one other movie. She's like a Ray Fisher situation. Ray Fisher came from theater and never been on screen. She has only been on screen once. I'm assuming she's a good singer because the movie she was in does like singing. But then after that, she got like this movie. And her acting is not good whatsoever. I am now terrified to watch the new Disney remake of Snow White, because she plays Snow White and Gal Gadot plays the evil queen. And Gal Gadot's acting isn't always that great as well. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really dismal and everything. And so it's kind of like you're gonna have two bland actresses trying to act. And that movie's already getting controversy because of the Seven Dwarfs, which Peter Dinklage, for whatever reason, had a meltdown once he heard there's going to be dwarfs in that movie. And it's like, dude, people your size need to act too. I'm pretty sure Disney's not going to make them buffoonish like they did in the animated movie. That was the first controversy. Then you have all the toxic people on YouTube who's talking about a Colombian Snow White. Oh, we can't have that because she has to be white. And it's like, oh God, not this crap again. It's bad they attacked the Little Mermaid. It's bad they attacked Tinkerbell. Then they went after Snow White. However, they have kind of chilled on the Snow White hate for now. Because once that, like, the trailers and everything start coming out, they're gonna attack it, and if they don't, they're hypocrites. And so, like, I think that movie's gonna bomb, dude. 'Cause you got two actresses who can't really act. But yeah, this movie was just plagued from like the start. And then now you have the young cast, which, like I said before, I don't criticize young people's acting, but they're acting out of their roles because they're getting older now. But they're still writing them as though they're younger, like Darla. When the first movie, it was okay for her to be cutesy wootsy and everything like that and adorable because of the simple fact she was really young. Now she's 15 years old and they're still writing her as cutesy wootsy adorable, and it's just not working out. And since the actress is getting older and her acting is either going to evolve or not, she played the character kind of in between. She's like, the cutesy wootsy type thing, but with the expression of a laid back teenager, and it's not working. You have to write these characters aged up because it makes no sense for the older Darla to act like an adult who's acting like a goober. And it made sense for the first movie for that to happen because of the simple fact it was kids transforming into adults. Now it's teenagers transforming into adults, and they're still acting like gooberish adults and everything. Another problem I had with this movie was like Shazam himself. Shazam was an idiot throughout this entire movie. Now, I liked the trailer for this movie. I thought it was great. But when you watch the movie, it's kind of like, dude, you're not even the hero of your own movie. Like, he's really not. He's not even the main focus of his movie. Like, okay, like I said before, I've never liked this version of Shazam. I like the old school Billy Baston, who's a kid who tries to do the right thing, and then when he's an adult, he tries to do the even more right thing. Here in the first movie, we had the arrogant Billy, who's a teenager. And then whenever he transformed, he was a gooberish man child. I was okay with that in the first movie because of the simple fact here is a out of control teenager who became an adult with superpowers. You're gonna act childish and everything. But why is he still acting that way now, especially when he has 5 months to become an adult? So that don't make no sense. And when did he age up that fast? Like, how long has it been in between the first and the second movie to where the characters are this much older? Because Mary just now is in college and she was talking about going to college in the last movie. So make it make sense and everything. And we don't even see that much of Billy in this movie. He's MIA for the majority of the movie. And it's like, why? Did the actor have like another project or something like that? So who really knows? So if you're going to have Zachary's character be Shazam, for the majority of the movie, he needs to be mature. And he was just an idiot. Him and the rest of the Shazam family couldn't even save that bridge from collapsing, and people was getting like hurt and everything. And is that supposed to be like a good message to send? Hey, look, we have superpowers. Hey, look, we're trying to fix a bridge. Oh, look, it collapsed because we couldn't save the bridge. And you know how Batman is when you don't save people, he tries to murder you. At least in this universe, he does. And the only way to make him stop is to say the word or say the name Martha. Why'd you say that name? Like, seriously, I still can't get over the fact that like he freaks out when he hears the name Martha. Like, come on, man. Why'd you say that name? So I guess if you randomly say the name walking down the street, he's gonna flip out. Oh, make it make sense. And so, like, then when, like, the gods put that bubble around the city, he's not even trying to figure out how to, like, bring it down. Instead, he's eating a sandwich in the middle of, like, the afternoon. And one dude, it was like, dude, why ain't you trying to pull down this bubble instead of eating that sandwich? Seriously, at least the writers were smart enough to put that line in there because it made no sense. He acts like an idiot. He acts like Zachary does in real life and everything. And it's just like he was a terrible hero throughout the movie. Then all of a sudden, when he sees Freddy getting captured, then all of a sudden he goes into hero mode and tries to stop the dude. But it's like, I don't know, man, throughout the rest of the movie, he was just an idiot. They all were and everything. Like Darla was just like, I don't know, man. I mean, it was funny with the puppy and stuff, but it was just, or the cat or whatever it was, but it was just, it was annoying and everything. And the rest of the kids never really get a time to shine. And so when they're adults, they still don't get much time to shine, except for one person. I will get to him later. And so, like, you're not invested with the Shazam family because you feel like you don't know them. Like you really don't. You get bits and pieces. Like the whole Darla and the whole Skittles thing. What was that about? Like seriously. It's like what was that really about? And they really didn't fully explain it other than, oh, she's just a cutesy wootsy little kid. And then, when they lost their power and she's all like, taste the rainbow and she was about to cuss, I didn't feel it. It didn't feel genuine, and the actress didn't sell it. You know what I'm saying? She probably didn't understand it herself and stuff. And it just didn't make like how are you gonna trick these little unicorn looking things with candy and make it pretend like it's ambrosia? How you gonna they can't be that stupid. You know what I'm saying? And it's like make it make sense. And and the villains were just underwhelming, man. They was underdeveloped. Nobody cared for them. Nobody, like, we understood why they're pissed. They got like in prison and the staff broke and all this other crap, but their personalities just kept flip-flopping so much. I didn't know whether to take them as serious threat or a goofy threat. Like, take Lucy Liu. Now, I like Lucy Liu, and I always defend Lucy Liu, but her acting in here was inconsistent. When her character first showed up, she was like, all like in that museum, she was all like smiling and everything. And I'm all like, okay, is she a kid too who transformed into an adult? Like, what's going on with her? But then after that, she's all ruthless and everything. So it's like, oh, okay. Then she betrays her sister. And it's all like, your personality is all over the freaking place. And then when her older sister gets pissed at her, she becomes like a sniveling child, like she's scared. And it's like her personality is all over the place. I don't get it. Then there is Helen's character. I don't know, man. It's just like she's evil throughout the entire movie. They kill that dude for no apparent reason other than show like, look, man, we bad. Like, I hate when villains do that. Don't just kill a person to show her I'm bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, have an actual reason for it. And they don't have to have an actual reason because they're so powerful and stuff. And then it's like she gets defeated. And I actually forgot how she got defeated. I know she got betrayed by her sister and stuff. But it's like, when Shazam was trying like, oh, maybe I'll defibrillate her heart and everything by like shocking her. And then she's all like, no, let me die peacefully and go into the unknown and stuff like that. It's kind of like, I don't know, man. That one line just made her not seem like a threat no more. And somehow she's able to survive to help take down her sister long enough for her just to die again. I mean, and then we get the Rachel's character. I don't understand her character. First of all, they copy her power set from Doctor Strange. So that's another copy and paste right there. And second, it's like, okay, she had to befriend Freddy, right? Now, why did she have to bump into him to befriend him? Why couldn't she just walk up and befriend him? Because the thing about Freddy is a dork. And even after having lunch with Superman, people still think he's a dork. And so the hot girl trying to talk to this dorky dude who's also, has like an illness and stuff. People don't typically, like, somebody who looks like her typically won't hang out with the nerdy dork type person. So if she were just to walk up and just talk to him and befriend him, he would think that's weird. But her bumping up into him, and then all of a sudden, all this smiling and giggly and them talking and hanging out, like, does he really think he had a chance with her? Like, that's the thing. Like, he is the ultimate nerd. He is the ultimate geek. You know what I'm saying? And for a hot girl like that to be interested in him, he had to have known something was up. And so she didn't have to bump into him with that whole awkward, oh, I'm sorry, and oh no, like, these guys are gonna beat you up and da da da. And then so after that, they just became friends. But nobody wants to be his friend. He should have known something was up, especially how he has the wisdom of Solomon in him. And so, like, um, I don't get it and stuff. Like, it is like she didn't have to bump into him to like set up these like events, because the events could have still been set up to begin with. And like, I don't know, it's like she proved that she's not evil and everything, she's the nicer one. But why did they have to go through all that deceit of making her think like she's that evil and be like, oh, I'm so sorry I betrayed you and everything? It's not like one of those stories where a person is evil and, they have these evil intent, but they trick the hero into thinking they're good. And so throughout the movie, you see them being good, but then eventually they fall in love with that hero. And here, she's not really evil. She fell in love with him at first sight. So it's not like she hung out with him to get to know him to fall in love with him. And so why didn't she betray her sisters earlier and stuff? See, it doesn't make no sense. It makes no sense. I never got into really Mary's character. I don't know. She was mature in the first movie. Now she's kind of acting a little less mature. The actress is hot in the costume, but her acting is kind of mid. It's like everybody's acting is all over the place, and it's kind of blah and everything. And you have what is his name, Pedro or something like that. He came out, but it's kind of like I don't know. It was supposed to be a humorous way when he came out, but it was just awkward because the family was gonna like, okay, look, man, even though we look like, we're superheroes, and when we say this name, like, we transform, but we lost our powers and blah, blah, blah. So I think everybody's supposed to say the name at the same time and transform, but then he's just like, I'm gay. And it's all like, that's when he decides to come out when the world's about to end, and like, they're supposed to reveal themselves as superheroes, but he took that as, oh, I'm supposed to reveal myself as like being gay, and it's just kind of like they didn't care. And I hate when they do this and stuff in TV and movies. It's like this person has this big secret of them, like, being closeted, and it really takes a toll on them. And then all of a sudden they reveal themselves to their friends and family, just for their friends and family to be like, we don't care. Who cares? We know. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And then they're like, oh, wow. Like, I'm accepted. But that's not how it is in real life. In real life, there's always going to be that one person who's not cool with it or who's a little funny about it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just kind of weird because it's almost giving people the impression that, hey, look, if you're closeted and you're really worried, don't worry. The moment you come out, everybody's going to accept you. We know that is not true. Look what's going on in Florida. Look what's going on with trans rights and everything. So it would be nice to have a little discord in the writing with having at least one person not be okay with it and stuff. Now, one positive I have about this movie is I like the new suits. The new suits look amazing. The first suits with that giant glow-in-the-dark looking thunderbolt, like light up and whatever thing it was in the middle of their chest, it looked so corny in the first movie. But I love the suits in here. However, I do miss the raised pop collar to that of the cape. It's a nice, like, Captain Marvel type thing, because he has a variation of different capes. And it's nice to have a cape that's different from Superman and super different from Batman. One thing I don't understand is that they had to do a flashback of the first movie, of showing like, Shazam breaking the staff and then just leaving it there without like, trying to get rid of it and crap. They wore their new suits, but they didn't wear their new suits in the first movie. Because, they had to like replace the Mary actress and stuff like that. But they wearing the same suits they are now. So what happened to the suits of the first movie? That the first movie just like not exist anymore? Like what's going on? Like that's a big continuity error. Like I get it. The suits in the first movie look like crap. The fake muscles and everything like that. But, people are gonna notice that. Now, I'm glad the Wizard had more to do in this movie than he did the first. However, the actor, I've seen him in plenty of stuff before, and I know he can act. I don't understand why he was overacting so much in this movie. He just kept shouting his words out for some bizarre reason. But let's get into the actual real character of the movie. It's actually Freddy. They should have renamed this movie Captain Everypower and the Fury of the Gods, because like seriously, he was the main star of the movie. He was the main focus of the movie. He had a love interest. His character actually went around trying to save people. When he was in his like kid form, he still is being like mocked and made fun of because of his appearance and his dorkiness. Like he even had a love interest in this movie. He gets kidnapped in this movie. He has to free himself in this movie. He has to like let everybody know what's going on. He has to help save the day at like, the end and everything. And so he was the main character of the entirety of the movie. So why wasn't he the actual star instead of Shazam? And that's because he's only supposed to be a supporting character and stuff. So why are you gonna make your supporting character the main character? Make it make sense. And this is now a problem that I didn't see in the first movie. At first, it was cool that Shazam shared his powers with like the rest of his family, and cause that's something you've never seen before. But now Thor, Love and Thunder tried to replicate that, and now we see it was pointless giving your powers to your family because they're just much of goofballs as he is. They don't really save the day like he does, Like there's that one dude who maps out like all the different dimensions, but we really don't get to go into the dimensions and see him map it out. We just get to see him come out with goo all over him. And, I don't know, man. This movie... How do you fall from grace? How? Because the first movie was so good. It's like, how do you make a sequel, but then you make it stupid? Like, it doesn't make sense. It really, 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 really don't. And, the director, the writers, the stars, they only had themselves to blame. And, this is like really makes me mad because I wanted this movie to do good, you know what I'm saying? Because I really enjoyed the first movie. But in the first movie, you had a better villain. We got to see him being younger, being abused. We got to see him being angry growing up. We got to see him like yearning for something he thought was destined for him. And here you just have villains that just pop up and they tell you why they're pissed off mad. And it's just like, that's not enough. Like, it's just not good enough. And now oh God, the end credit scene. So basically, we thought Shazam was gonna die, and they should have killed his behind off. But Wonder Woman saved him. And honestly, Gal Gadot, I don't even think she was there on set. Like, she couldn't have been, because they kept showing the back of her, and we saw the stunt double, acting out the scenes with the cast. And the director's all like, no, she was there the whole time. We just had the stunt person there to map out where she would be standing at. Nah, dude, like, come on. We know she wasn't really there, and she filmed her stuff separately. Don't know why, but she did. And then, of course, Shazam is supposed to join the Justice Society because Amanda Waller's people and James Gunn's wife showed up at the end and it's all like, we want you to join the Justice Society. Ugh. I don't want him on Justice Society. I don't even want this version of Shazam anymore. I don't want this version of any of them anymore. Like, seriously, when they first showed up, when the kids had superpowers and they zapped Freddy, why didn't they just zap all the other ones to take their power away? Like, why? Why just stand there and look at them? Why? I don't get it. Make it make sense. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.